When I began this battle, my soul was so damn fragile. I was looking at life through a fog. I lost my baby girl and they killed my dog. I was laying on the bottom feeling sad, thinking about doing bad things, raging fucking mad. I couldn't understand why I was chosen. Then it led to my rage and explosion. I am the one who can make this better. It's my job to make things right. I need to pick myself up. It's time for my biggest fight. Wrap your kids in the Bible. Wrap your kids in the flag. CPS is from the devil. Y'all know that it's a fact. I'm a father that went to jail. I cherish my daughter. It was nothing when they come for her and me. There should have been a slaughter. Stand with us. Make parenting great again. Abolish CPS. Ambush with the black SUVs. They come armed, they came for me, and they came for her. Stand with us, make parenting great again, abolish CPS. They took her from me, she's across the state. Gone for a year now, taken away. All these people who have written me off, I'm here to show my face and tell you you're wrong. I never was as good as you, and for the record we know that's not true. I'm not trying for a comparison. How dare you, you're embarrassing. I don't wanna be as good as anyone else. I fight this battle, I fight for myself. I am the one who can make this better. It's my job to make things right. I need to pick myself up. It's time for my biggest fight. I don't care about your judgment, I'm glad you gave us this test. But when your life is over, will your heart sleep quietly in your chest? I've got more life to live. As a matter of fact, it's just beginning. I've been given a challenge and my daughter is waiting. It's a fight I can't walk away from, a new life we are creating. So why you sit there mouth full of hating? Be sure my mind is planning on invading. I've got a war to fight and I'm on. I won't give up, I need to win, this is bigger than you. I don't expect you to understand. I am the one who can start over. It's my job to make things right. I need to pick myself up. It's time for the biggest fight. I won't be left behind. This is the time, I call it mine. Step out of the way unless you wanna play Trump. Stand with us, make parenting great again, abolish CPS. There is no time for bickering, the clocks are flickering. Pick up your weapon and join me, if not go back to ignoring me. I will be on top, pistol going pop, pop. Money falling from my pockets, you'll still be lying on dockets, so fuck you.
All right, everybody. Welcome to this Sunday edition of CPS Victims Hunting Justice. We lost Obsidian today. I don't know where he's at, but we got me and Benny here. We're going to do some Sunday edition since we've had kind of a weird weekend show here. So we're going to do today ourselves. So what's up, Benny? How you doing, man? We've kind of been some things came up over the weekend that lacked us out of our shows, but we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So we can really go get at it here in a minute if we will here.
Yeah, it's been a busy week, guys. Busy week and weekend for that matter. How we doing, Debbie? I miss Tammy. I miss Chris. Quiet on the home front. What's up, Christy? I'm surprised Christy hasn't wanted to come on the show. I think we lost Aaron.
Did I lose my sound? Try
Yep.
that, Vinny. Can you hear you?
Yep. I can hear you.
Nothing. We're losing people, though. I know that. So sorry about this, guys. We are all. Dave, you want to go with this while I go for a second here? Go ahead and talk whatever freely.
Yeah. So I've had issues this weekend, guys. I had the cops here harassing me this weekend. So I gotta appear on 520 to a summons. It's beginning to be bullshit with them. I can't wait to get this lawsuit filed against these people. I'm done with the BS that's going on. Right. It's been ridiculous. The amount of shit that I'm going through. Um, the trying to silence my voice. All of it. It's getting to be ridiculous with these people. Trying to say they have a gag order on me. Where's your gag order? I haven't seen one in any of my documentation. And you can't gag me. I have a First Amendment constitutional right, freedom of speech and freedom of press. But they're trying to silence me.
All right. And that's bullshit, too.
Yep. What's up, Mr.
I
Herbert?
mean, what right does the government have to say that? What right did they have to say that, Vinny? What right do they really have to say that you can't go and use your constitutional rights?
They don't.
Anybody out there? Does anybody out there have any comments on this? What do you think about if they're trying to silence you about in any of these cases, guys? What rights do they really have to constitutionally tell you to put gag orders on people, to tell you to not talk about your case? What? Why? Because they don't want people to know what the truth is, right? Like that's what's really going on here. If you really want to know the meat and potatoes of this stuff, it's what the hell they're trying to hide from the American people is what's going on here. And it's about time that we all sit out. We all take a stand here because this is getting out of control. We're allowing the government to come in and say, hey, you can't talk about the fact that we just stole your kids.
Which is
Like
bullshit.
really? That's it? We can't talk about the fact that you came in and stole my kids because we don't want everybody to hear this. That's what we're going to talk about. Exactly, Debbie. Exactly.
I got tons of information on them, Debbie. Trust me, I could bury them alive with what I have. Especially the facts that they've
In the
denied me.
courtroom, she means by that.
Yeah, especially that they've denied me my rights to see my children when I was supposed to have visitations to begin with. And I have that proof.
Yeah. It is. Oh, shoot. Oh, I'm just all out of sorts here.
And the biggest part is they're running scared now because they know I've already filed one lawsuit. I've filed my lawsuit on CPS already in the Superior Court. One lawsuit down, one more to go.
Hell yeah. It's going to be, it's epic, man. You know what? There's nothing better than a feeling of freedom and being able to show them that, you know, you're not afraid of what they're trying to do to you. You know, I mean, granted, what they're trying to do is very bad. And it's scary as a person, but you know, these are our rights, people. These are what we need to stand on, and that we need to make sure that we don't allow this to go on, because the reason that this is going on is because this stuff is happening. This stuff is going on every day in this country, and we're all just, you know, it's all just, oh, close your mouth. Don't talk about this case. You can't talk about this stuff live. You can't go online. This is a gag order on you. You can't do this. You can't do that. Bullshit, man. I can't put pictures of my kids online because this, that, and the other. They say you can't air your things on Facebook. Why not? Because they don't want you to know that your kids are being stolen. They don't want the American public to know that our kids are being stolen every day, a child a minute, if not more. I mean, that's pretty much what this boils down to.
I mean, guys, if you go and you search it and research it, look up, and I'm going to tell you what to look up. Look up Executive Order 13903. Look up that executive order and what it entails. Then go behind it and look up Executive Order 13818.
Yeah, Benny showed me this today. You know what? Why don't we play that video? I'll play it.
Absolutely. You guys got to see this video.
That's what we'll do. Let me get this in here.
What's up, Terry?
Let's see. Just gonna find Benny here. Benny. Benny, you said it's my personal one, right?
Yeah, your personal messenger. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
guys
mind?
got-
Is it easy for you to send me a message right now? Can you just shoot me a message? Oh, never mind. I got it right here.
You guys got to watch this video and listen to what they're saying. Pay attention closely to what is actually going on that you're not seeing behind the scenes right now. They're not putting this on local TV.
2017, Trump's inauguration. All of you that don't have a clue what's going on, I'm going to explain something to you. And I hope and pray that you listen. 2017, Trump's inauguration speech is where it all starts. He came out and said, "Today we are not transferring power from one administration to the next, or from one party to the next, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, a lot of people." What he did that day, a lot of people don't understand. He eliminated the entire act of 1871 right there. He had military intelligence on one side of him. They monitor everything, they record everything, emails, text messages, phone calls, etc. He had military tribunal judges on the other side. And he told you, for too long, a small group of people have reaped the rewards of government while the people have bore the cost. And he said that stops here, that stops now, that stops today. Right after that, he did an executive order, 13818, 13903. The 13903 one was arrest all involved in human trafficking worldwide, seize any and all property of anybody involved in human trafficking worldwide. That took out all your royal families, all of your government officials right fucking there. It took out presidents through other countries, ex-presidents, actors, rappers, country singers, etc. Okay? Then, Executive Order 13818 was put in place to protect we, the people. Inside of that, it tells you property blocked for human rights abuse and corruption. The corruption part's easy. All your federal, state, city, county, local laws, all your state statutes, all of your fucking gun laws, including background checks for guns that don't exist. And they haven't since 2017. The human rights abuse part is this. Go to look up Universal Human Rights Declaration Act, Articles 1 through 30, and it tells you right there, you were born free to live free. You were never supposed to be charged anything to live freely. In other words, you were not supposed to pay your rent, your mortgage, your loans, your credit cards. You're not supposed to pay for any damn thing. That is backed up by Abraham Lincoln's executive order, the promissory note. A lot of you guys don't understand that. Okay. In 2020, COVID happened. Okay, COVID, it doesn't exist. It was the vaccine that people ran to the hospital to get. Okay, that vaccine was a bioweapon. It was made to kill people. You'll find that out. However, Trump's warp speed stopped them from actually putting a lot of black and poison in that shit. You'll find that out. Moving on. A lot of people don't understand. On November 2nd, 2020, Trump signed the Proclamation Act of 1776, bringing us back to constitutional law only. He already gave us the power back, made us a sovereign country. Okay, now, moving on. July 4th, 2020, he did a second Declaration of Independence nobody knew about. You'll find that out. Moving on. December 9th, a lot of people don't know this. He signed the Insurrection Act because the government was trying to steal the country back from we the people by stealth. We thought there was supposed to be an election. No, nobody caught on to what he said in 2017. Once he gave power back to we the people, there is no fucking election. There was no more government right there. Gone. The Act of 1871. Bankrupt, dissolved, gone. Bye. Get over it, okay? Because now you're seeing a bunch of federal, state, cops, all kinds of people that are empowered and controlled over we the people being arrested on federal indictments. It's going to get worse. They came out and said that all law enforcement officials will be arrested for operating illegally in the United States Republic. All attorneys will be arrested also because they are a British accreditation registry. It is a foreign organization operating illegally in the United States. Now, everybody thought Trump left in 2021. Okay, no. You need to go look up Executive Order 13961. It was never a transfer of power. It was a continuation of government handing full authority and power over to the United States military through the Insurrection Act on January 9th of 2021. On January 11th of 2021, Trump signed an Emergency Declaration Act for D.C., resulting from the problems with the 59th presidential inauguration. They faked an inauguration so that it would never cause a civil unrest. He stepped to the side and shined the spotlight on your real criminals, which was your government. Now, It makes their job a lot easier because people understand that the government was so fucking corrupt. They were so fucking sick. Ripping people's faces off, all for a thing called adrenochrome. Human trafficking children through fucking federal court systems. Yeah, your judges are fucked. Every single attorney has been enforcing illegal unconstitutional laws since 2017. However, we've been common law since January 17th, 1963. Problem is the government never wanted to uphold that law because they knew if they did, they would lose power and control over we the people, and they would not ever have any control over us. We don't need a government to babysit us. We can govern ourselves. We don't need to be enslaved by landlords, corporation, company, organization owners that are enforcing federal, state, city, county, local laws, policies, company policies. Okay, all that shit is gone. Eviction notice is gone. Okay, March 4th is gonna be anything but normal. That's all I can tell you. Okay, I'm not at liberty to tell you what's fixing to happen. But there's a reason they're giving you guys the $5,000. My suggestion to you is this. Do not spend it on any bills. You need to buy food, water, supplies for at least 3 weeks. You better take me at my word. I'm dead serious. Your government is being dismantled, little by little right now. And they have been for a long time, actually. It's called the devolution plan. 90% of your government is gone, but you still have corrupt attorneys out here. You still have landlords. You still have company, corporation, and organization owners that are still enforcing laws that don't exist. And those people are the ones who violated that Presidential Executive Order 13818, which, by the way, it has been extended 4 times. Inside of it, it tells you property blocked for personal and private gain. If you think you've seen anything yet, trust me, you haven't seen nothing yet. When Trump said worldwide military leaders in that room with him, and this is the calm before the storm, you better understand what he said. A lot of people don't know that there is a secret weapon that they have. It's not a regular weapon like what you think. It is an actual court case done by United States Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. You don't get any higher than that. And when Trump said that we are the law and order, and that everything will go by the law of the land, that is exactly what he meant. Take my word for it, folks. Don't spend that shit on your bills.
All right, Vinny, what do you think?
I think everyone needs to start waking up to what's really going on around the world.
Well, I think we should dive into this a little bit here. Let's go down that tree. I hope that they don't give us for medical disinformation. I didn't realize that part was in there. We didn't mean that, Facebook. I mean, anybody that's out there. So that's not our opinion. We don't share that opinion. So if anybody out there needs to question that stuff, please do.
You should play that one video I sent you, Darren.
Which one?
The Stephen Miller.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You guys got to hear this. They also exposed Barack Obama. His certificate of birth is fake. You need me to send it to you again, Darren?
No, I'm just looking for you. you already.
Wait till you
Okay.
guys hear what Steve Miller has to say. It'll blow your goddamn mind.
Which one's the Steve Miller one? The first one or the second one?
It is. It's the one with the bald guy. Oh no, I didn't send you it. Oh, yes, I did. The first one.
The first one?
Yep, and then play the second one after.
Federal bureaucrat who defies the lawful orders of this president will be fired. President Trump will ensure that whether you work at the FBI, whether you work at the CIA, whether you work at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the Department of Health and Human Services, career civil servants, also known as bureaucrats, work for the American people, and they work for the president the American people elected. They do not set their own agenda. They do not write their own rules. They do not work for themselves. They work for each and every one of you. You pay their salaries. You pay for the buildings they work in. You pay for every single thing they do. And if they are not following the laws, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, then they will find a new career.
Yep.
Now play Trump's one. That's the one right after it.
So now, as the chief law enforcement officer in our country, I will insist upon and demand full and complete accountability for the wrongs and abuses that have occurred. The American people have given us a mandate like few people thought possible. We will expel the rogue actors and corrupt forces from our government. We will expose and very much expose their egregious crimes and severe misconduct, of which was levels you've never seen anything like it. It's going to be legendary. It's going to also be legendary for the people that are able to seek it out and bring justice. We will restore the scales of justice in America, and we will ensure that such abuses never happen again in our country. And that's why on day one, I signed an executive order banning all government censorship and directing the removal of every bureaucrat who conspired to attack free speech and many other things and values in America. My administration stripped the security clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We revoked the clearances of deranged Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, and the crooked law firms that aided their partisan persecutions. And I went through it. These are state and city courts, and the corruption is unbelievable. We also terminated the clearances of the Biden crime family and Joe Biden himself. He didn't deserve it. In fact, he was essentially found guilty, but they said he was incompetent, and therefore let's not find him guilty, I guess. Nobody knows what that ruling was, but I didn't want any part of it. I think I would have rather been found guilty than what they found with him. They said he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and therefore he's let him go. I said, I'd rather be convicted, Pam. I think that was not, I said, please convict me, don't say that.
Yep. He's just saying he's ready to knock them all out.
Ready to take him down.
Not playing any games, man. So, I mean, hopefully that this is all the truth. Hopefully that this is all what's going to stand and this is all what's going to really happen here, guys. I mean, this really could be something giant. It really could be. And if that's not AI and that's real, then man, oh man, they got it coming. I want to look up here. They said that they did a second Declaration of Independence. I want to take a look at that. See if they did a
Yeah, see if we can
second.
find it. Because if we can find it, that would be huge.
Did you guys see my jellyfish over here? It was by Trump, correct? President Trump.
Yep. Oh, this was just posted 22 minutes ago. Breaking Rep. Eli Crane announced he will back legislative in the House this week to impeach Judge James Boasberg, who obstructed the Trump administration efforts to enforce the Alien Enemy Act of 1798.
Oh wow, he did. On the 244th anniversary of. Okay. So it says, on this day, 1776, the Second Continental Congress adopted the United States Declaration of Independence in what is now known as the Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Taking this historic step, the Congress proclaimed these united colonies are and the right ought to be free and independent states. Today we celebrate our nation's independence and the vision of our founding fathers revealed to the world on the fateful day, as well as countless patriots who continue to ensure the flames of freedom are never extinguished. The enduring commitment to the ideals of liberty and justice that have come to define our American spirit stem from the nation's founding. In declaring that our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness should be safeguarded for posterity, and that the governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of their governed. Our founding fathers launched the American experiment that escaped freedom and democracy over tyranny and monarchy. 244 years later, the principles grounded in the Declaration of Independence continue to guide our nation forward and maintain its standing as a beacon of liberty, prosperity, and opportunity for all. Over the past months, the American spirit has undoubtedly been tested by many challenges, yet it is in the face of adversity that our country has had some of our proudest moments of triumph. Today, especially, we are reminded that extraordinary feats that our nation has accomplished since its founding nearly 250 years ago. Together, we must ensure that we live up to the ideals of our Declaration of Independence and do all that we can to protect and preserve the freedoms that make our country the greatest in the world. The First Lady and I wish each and every American a happy and blessed 4th of July and proudly join you in celebrating our great nation. May God bless the United States of America. And it says, Declaration of Independence, 244th Anniversaries of Adoption message. Okay. Here's that. But that's just him reading that message, all right? Trump's agenda serves as a second declaration. It'll affect tax relief.
This is huge, guys. You don't even know.
Trump's plan is nothing less than a second Declaration of Independence for the American worker. Okay, this was January 21st, 2025. Show this right here.
Good to see you, Jonathan.
Let's see here.
So remember that, guys. We the people have the power now.
Here it is. Here's the article about. It says right here, Trump's plan is nothing less than a second Declaration of Independence for the American worker, employer, and parent, who have had enough of seeing their interests come a distant second to the demands of invasive homegrown bureaucracies and foreign trade partners. Bill focused on defense, energy policy, and border security, and then follow that up later, tax policy and other initiatives planned for later this summer. Policies amazing. Wow, this is great. I mean, that's legislation focused on the health, prosperity, and safety in defense of our people and our way of life without restraint and limitation. Not to exploit our free society or to ship our birthright overseas. We must cultivate excellence by investing in our people. We must celebrate what makes us different rather than joining in a global race to the bottom.
Hence why Trump keeps saying America's back.
We need to be renewed every generation or two in order for the Republic to last. Now is one of those necessary moments of national renewal. To be clear, I am not encouraging actually watering the tree of liberty with the blood of tyrants, as Thomas Jefferson did. I think we can accomplish a peaceful revolution through an unremitting adherence to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that Jefferson helped to frame. Nonetheless, we are faced with a generational opportunity to relight the lamp of freedom that has inspired both Americans and the rest of the world and restore our sense of national mission.
Oh, Canada's going to be the 51st state. Whether they want to see it or not, they will be the 51st state. That's coming too. I've heard lots of talk about that one, especially from a guy online that knows somebody that's within the Trump administration.
How are we going to take that? We're going to take that by force?
Well, Canada relies on us to.
You can't just go in and invade. I mean, if we invade a country, that's just as bad as Hitler.
No, but they've already tariffed the shit out of them. What's up, Joe G? Interesting facts, huh, guys? Which means no cops can come in your house because your land is your land.
Now is the hour to exercise the remarkable powers of our democratic republic and win the day for the American people and the Western world through common sense legislation rooted in our unique inheritance and focused on ensuring individual freedom, merit-based equality, deficit reduction, border security, our physical and digital infrastructure, energy independence, and national defense. There is no downside to the elevation of our ideals, principles, ethics, grit, determination, and character, and the upside of this reinvigoration of the American dream, the expanding of the individual freedoms, the continued realization of our destiny, without apology, with a thirst for discovering what comes next, and a zeal to write our next chapter together as one people.
Yep.
That's a great article. That's it.
I can't wait to see the arrest of all these judges, boy. Especially here in Maine. Because without people knowing, I've been sending POTUS all of the information going on in Maine.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is he getting it?
Oh, he's getting it all right.
U.S. no longer welcome to country. Wow.
I mean, just think Maine's already in the spotlight.
Yes.
With the transgender stuff going on in the sports up here. And that representative, Laurel Libby, is still getting that out there. So just remember, guys, attorneys are not acting for you, but against you. They are not representing we the people. They're representing their corporation.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. See, we're seeing some things. I mean, and so we just backed up what that guy said, because that definitely did happen with that. I mean, do your research on this stuff, please. Don't take our word for it, but definitely look into this stuff. But it looks like we're really doing this. It looks like Trump's really trying to get America back to being great again. And in that, he says, as parents, and he just said that. They said that in that speech, as parents. So.
Yep, these cops are acting unlawful. Which means if a cop comes to your house and tries to get in your door, you have every right to pull a trigger.
Well, let's not be promoting that, Benny.
Well, I mean, that's threatening your home, really.
If they ask to come in and you let them in, it is not that. If they come kick your door down and they have a warrant, then you can't shoot them.
Even though we know their warrants aren't even valid.
I'm just saying that, well, hopefully they get this stuff figured out, you know. So we don't want to worry about this type of shit. We shouldn't be worrying about this type of stuff. We should be worried about just what we need to worry about in our country and ourselves, you know.
Oh, I fear for me and my family right now.
Well, only fear for them because you're standing up against their tyranny. If we didn't have this already, then we wouldn't be in fear, right? Like, if they didn't do this to us, then we wouldn't be in fear.
Yep.
No, so, I mean, this is good stuff. Good stuff. But it's up to us to carry this stuff on and make sure that we don't let this stuff fall.
Well, and it's not supposed to be that way, Athena. It's not supposed to be a corporation. We were never founded under a corporation. Never. Go back to the earlier days when parents actually mattered and we had parental rights. They've been stripping out parental rights from us this whole time. Unlawfully at that. That's why Darren always says, case law, don't use it. It's not case law.
It's not law.
You have to combat them without case law. Without.
Use the Constitution.
Use your Constitution and your Bill of Rights.
Because, guys, all case law is a judge's opinion that they've ruled on a case, and then they pass it along as fact. It's not a law. It's not a law at all. It's an opinion. An opinion and a guide to go by for a judge's ruling. That's all that is. But we've learned, right, with the turnover with the Jarsky versus SEC, is so judges are supposed to go by the law, not the opinion of the state or any other sort of corporation or whatever else has been acting against you. So why would we go with case law? And yes, it helps to use for an example, but it only is because these judges are claps, right? Trying to get tainted judges to look at case law that revolves around them, really.
Yeah, because they made up all those case laws. Them and the bar association.
That's what I'm saying.
Which, if you guys have been paying attention, there has been talk about disbanding the American Bar Association. They have talked about it.
That makes them spies, man. That makes them spies and treason and all of that stuff. You can't be a foreign agent working on this property unless you have clearance, or unless the government allows you to, unless you have that. So when people talk about the bar being the British, oh my God, what are the rest of the for the bars. For bars, British something. Oh, call it in my note, and I can't get out with it in my words. The British
Royal
damn it.
family.
No, bar stands for.
I got you.
You have it. British acquisition something.
Yeah.
British accredited registry.
Hey,
Right.
also that.
Yep.
Bar. Term is a minimum for the line or bar that separates the parts of courtroom reserved for spectators. Now, this is interesting. It says here the term is a metonym for the line or bar that separates the parts of a courtroom reserved for spectators and those reserved for participants in a trial. This is the bars refer to the collective of all lawyers qualified to practice in a given court or jurisdiction. Wow, that's cool. Thanks, man.
That's enough. Wherever you put that.
So that's interesting stuff. Term came from a set of iron bars suspended from the ceiling and lowered to secure spirits when necessary. The iron bars secured the liquor. Why is it called the bar? Oh, why is it called the bar? Okay, that's bar for drinking.
The British trade.
British accredited registry.
Yep. The term bar is not an acronym. It is a common misconception that stands for British accredited registration.
So this says that Occam's razor is a principle stating that the simplest explanation of observable problem is likely to correct one. The rings true when exploring the origins of the term bar as it relates to legal practice. Some people claim that the term bar is an acronym for British Accredited Registry. Aside from making little sense, this assertion is patently false. In reality, the word bar refers to the railing that separates the working area of the court from the spectator area. The working area of the court consists of the following: judge's bench, prosecutor's table, defense table, jury seats, witness box. The bar is a reference to the court system's origins in English common law. In England, a barrister is a type of lawyer who operates within the bounds of common law jurisdiction. When representing their clients, they do so from the bar. Today, the term bar applies to the associations of licensed attorneys in the United States, while the bar exam is the latest required to become a member of these organizations. Before they are allowed to practice law, lawyers must become members of their state's bar association. This rule applies no matter whether they want to practice personal injury law, intellectual property law, or even entertainment law. In order to become a member of the bar, applicants must pass a comprehensive exam. This test is called the bar. Each bar exam is subject to different protocols, depending on the state that is governing. Before taking the bar, aspiring attorneys must decide which state they would like to practice law in. In most states, lawyers must graduate from a law school in order to take the bar exam. Some states, such as California and Washington, have the alternative routes that do not require law school. However, passing the bar requires working knowledge of the state's legal statutes. In order to be admitted to Florida's bar exam, applicants must meet the following: be enrolled in an ABA accredited law school, be working towards a doctor of jurisprudence degree, be able to produce evidence of good moral character, have completed law school requirements prior to taking the bar exam. Each state has its own requirements, so make sure to check the rules in the state in which you plan to practice law. So, you can believe what you will, guys, but there's the information. We've given it to you. You can pick it or choose it or whatever. But those are the facts. But we gotta let's see here. Hold on a minute. What do you think, Gunnar? What do you think about that, buddy?
I'm just gonna say welcome to shit that's been going on since the beginning of this country, and people don't think it's a fact of contracts that were done dating all the way back to the Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant, after we had our Civil War, just like many other places and other countries we even see today, where countries are split, different influences, or your purpose in gaining that territory back then was to fight for it. There were parts of the southern states to where France had made deals with the Confederates. Obviously England with the North or the Union, as well as many other things. And these went on to show, even with the treaties that happened after the Civil War. And the idea was the North was broke. They were both so broke, they needed war chests. And people don't want to talk about this, and this is history. These war chests came with a contract. I will give you, it's like when you go with your credit card saying, I really want that item, or I really want to win this battle, and they give you a credit card. There's still parts of that contract that says you're going to repay that in one way or another. People, this is why they're tearing down those statutes. It has not got to do a fucking thing to do with anything with racism or any of that bullshit. These are the people that had their names, their signatures on those fucking documents with France, with the English. They want to eliminate the fact of where they originated from. So it's just one of those things that you're going to have to take and just figure it out and put two and two together to where it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That give me 1 second.
Facts over lies. You have to tag us. You have to send an email to cpsvhuntingjustice@gmail.com, or else we're not going to see those.
And guys, this is where they control the narrative. This is why they have control, and they don't want you to teach at homeschool, because this was commonly known knowledge to the people. This was going on. Department of Education has eliminated all of it and sifted through it, which is why Trump is defunding them, because once you realize the true history, and this is going back to those treaties and contracts and stuff of saying, basically what Trump is trying to say is we can't keep doing this and have our independence and signing that contract. Our obligations have been fulfilled. We're no longer going to honor that. We're our own country. We're under the Constitution. All contracts and treaties, it said before that, but it didn't say, after that it had to amend that. And that was one of the things that there was a lot of issues on for, and why they assassinated Lincoln was the fact he was pointing it out that what had happened, or the backdoor deals he wasn't made aware of to get these war chests with full exposure to the people, that they were signing over the Constitution, or they took a backdoor deal to sublet the Constitution. Guys, this is truth. This is evidence. This is history. And it's all in your libraries. You're not going to find it online. That's why they're making them disappear. And you'll notice as farther they go along, what's every president get? Usually a library. And they control the forms of information in there, according to, once again, who runs the libraries. It's under that president that it's named after and his objectives. So everything's going to flow one way or the other. It's a political.
Well, that's why if you noticed, when President Trump did his inauguration, he didn't put his hand on that Bible, because that Bible that they have is part of their corporation. He did not swear an oath to their corporation.
Well, Vinny, that's for in history of religion. I will tell you that what Vinny's talking about is historically accurate. If you don't know what canonization is and what happened and those other things people swear up and down by, the King James Bible, some say, hey, if it's not King James, it's not this. There are Bibles that predate the King James to show the inaccuracies of the King James. when it came down to that, historically, that was basically brought from King James saying, hey, we're living and worshiping this way. Translate this, but make sure that every way that we're living and the way we enjoy right now is acceptable according to our religious beliefs or according to that doctrine. So you got doctrine in the way. It's just one of those things that man got in the way. See, this is and now you're going to think I'm a religious nut for some of it, but this is not what I'm talking about. This is why most people are walking away from organized religion, is because they read in that Bible that says now there is no more need for an intercessor between you and God, that you can boldly go into the throne room. And you look at every time man has got involved in anything to do with God, which was the whole point. He says, I now give you the Paraclete, or the Holy Spirit. You don't need anything else. You don't need your churches. You don't need this. You don't need that. Why? Because that's there. And it took away the thing of polluting it with this thing called man. That's exactly what it was for. That's what they don't want to teach you. That's why, hey, you ever go into a church? Do you ever hear about those things? No. Hey, I've never read that. It's in there. But what do they focus on? Paul, the church, all the different books that deal with what? Organization, belief, harmony, going with the flow, obeying. If you listen to a lot of it, it's totalitarianism, socialism. Every bit of it is teaching socialism. Now you have to question that and thing of saying, is this good or not? And who were the most looked up to? It was the apostles or something like they were kings above kings, because people want somebody to feel like they rule over each other. Now let's take that part, and this is the same thing that brought us to why they left England, because of a lot of that core beliefs that founded America. This is, we don't believe that way. We don't believe that there's a person that's in between us. I mean, that goes against what we believe. So we want our religious freedoms to move to another land, which drove a lot of those. Others had to do with trade. It had to do with money. Okay. You want to talk about the Boston Tea Party? That's a whole different story too. You haven't heard the real story on that. Go find Paul Harvey and get the rest of the story on the Boston Tea Party. Go ahead, Google it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Listen, we used to have reporters and everything like that used to give us the rest of the story, keep us informed, give us that history. All of that is gone. And the only way you're getting it now is through broadcasts like this, that's going to tell you, guys, we've been lied to. It's that Santa Claus exists, and then and nobody for this and that, whatever your beliefs is, whatever, is saying Santa Claus exists, and then you come to find out one day, you come to age and going, you're fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing we tell people, and my wife will cover this too, of why that's not good. Because now you've broken that bond with your child early to trust what you say that is truth. I want you to think about this. All this was created for a reason, to tear the family apart. All of this has been for that. You're so soaked up, some of you, on YouTube, on we'll say TikTok, or Facebook, or some of these other different things, that they caused a whole different type of addiction. And my grandfather probably told me the best words, and I always tell my children and my grandchildren, I will tell them the same thing. Anything that comes off that screen is make-believe. It's not real. Even you watching us, this is not real. This is not your reality. This is a window into my reality. And that's where your perception's been wrong. And they fucked with your perception during MK Ultra. Yes, that was real. It's confirmed. They've been fucking with our heads. That's the whole thing about us Gen Xers. We know all this shit. We watched it.
They do it through they do.
We watched when they pull back the curtain, and then they had the word come up of conspiracy theorists. Guess who come up with that? The fucking CIA, the ones that were pulling the bullshit.
They're doing it through, let's point it out there, they're doing it through the 5G towers. There's
a lot of things that we learned that I will tell you this, if it was that bad, we are so far behind technologically because we buried or couldn't understood because it was older technology that Nikola Tesla himself has or had. And the point is all of this goes together for what there some have named the cabal, the corporation. There's many names I've heard. You can put whatever black category list you want. These group of individuals look to enslave or think they're better or smarter or whatever their reasoning is. And the people we see out front are such a joke of saying, and you've got to turn around and understand that.
That's funny, Lewis.
Politicians, and here's why, they're puppets. You look at these people and go, how can you go from being this, like a joke job, but at least it's a job, to being a politician, and then now you're making all this money, and you're watching the show.
Yeah, watch this one. Watch this show, Gunner. Here.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
If I were the devil,
maximize your screen.
if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness. And I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
That's 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
I don't want the drink.
That's what they've been doing.
I mean, Paul Harvey nailed that one right on the head.
Yep.
Taking my kids and
Let's touch on that. You're a single mother, female, okay? That's the other problem. Is when you may have been in an abusive relationship, okay? I get that. Or you had your boyfriend, your husband, whoever beat you up, okay? That's understandable to separate from that person, okay? But when you go into the state courts and you start demanding child support instead of working on that with the individual or the father, that creates the problem.
Yep.
You should not be asking for child support when we have all the money in the world, okay? We're supposed to be the richest nation. This is true. Look it up.
I'm not sure where you're going with this one, Vinny.
I'm going with it with the fact of you got a lot of these women out here going into courts and demanding child support instead of working with the opposite parent and getting that support out of court.
using the courts to go ahead and get the money through them instead of individually.
Yeah.
Well, what Vinny's talking about is having agreeable, being adults, and stop with all the emotion, all the bullshit. It's to sit down with the other parent and come down to an equitable agreement of 50-50 time, and as well as negotiating child support.
Well, that's what happens when you go into a contract of marriage. You allow the state to be the moderator.
That's where I was going with that, because they have done that. That gives them the control, because you've licensed what you can. If you want,
and that makes them involved in your life with your child.
Have to be married in this country, and it's a misconception, a marriage license. That is only to take and have it legally.
He wasn't talking about that, my baby. He wasn't talking about you with that specific situation. Don't worry about that.
Just saying.
No. And that's where it comes down to, where the courts have taken over, is because people can't act rational anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. We can't sit down and say, listen, things don't work out. This is what's called no-fault divorces that have caused this. The state created that. Hey, for no reason whatsoever, you can get divorced by just saying we ain't getting along. The state's created that because it creates revenue. It's a way out instead of working on your marriage. But once again, we've gone through so many cycles of all this, and now you've got abusive people, narcissist people, all these other people. Why? Because you've torn families apart. There's no accountability. Let me tell you something. If I fucked up, and I was still a fucking grown man, and my granddad was alive, or somebody like that, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
You take your ass to the woodshed and beat it.
You have an ass whooping coming from family. They found out you was doing something or fucking with a kid. You didn't have to worry about going to the government for fucking food, housing, this and that. Your family took care of it. And then they dragged the motherfucker out and beat the fuck out of him. Then you had decent cops say, what happened to him? We caught him touching the fucking child. They turn around. I'm just saying, hold on now. Now, sometimes they'd make a stop along before they went to get theirs in. Because they knew it was true. Caught him in the fucking act. They were going to testify. They knew this guy was dead to fucking rights. Caught him in the act. There was enough to take care of that. Then he went down to the prison. And then he didn't make it. When it was true and factual, proven in a court of law, I mean, caught in the fucking act type shit, that's fine. Now you've got people getting accused of the same shit in CPS and the civil systems, without a fucking jury, and going on a fucking list and falsifying evidence and perjury and all this other shit going on. And they're labeling you the same way. Why? Because they want to track you. You don't believe me? You get on that list, and CPS is now computerized, not paper. They look for repeat offenders. Once you're on there, they have a list of who your family is. And they know how to spin the story to include the person. Hey, their kid's getting taken, and they say you had something to do with it. We're here to take your kid too. How hard is that to do in these courts, especially today? No warrant, no entry, no court order. We're just going to come take us of an accusation.
See, my mom knows what's going on. She follows the real news like I do.
Yeah.
Montana MVK says, I didn't ask for child support either. The abuser took my babes to break me. He filed for support on me, but I was SAHM. Oh, Jesus. He took all the money and resources, creating division, defy as one of their MOs. Yes, it is. Absolutely right. And I'm sorry you've been through that SAHM. That's freaking awful. Those pieces
Now,
of shit
listen.
deserve to die.
That is why that system was set up for dicks like that did that.
Yep.
The concept is 50-50 and split everything. That the idea is this: within the communicable stage, which was part of that particular thing, is you will come in with what you had, and at the same time, everything that you got while you were together is now split in half. It's that simple. All the court's going to do is make sure it's the same fucking way. Why are you taking a third person and paying tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars that's going to end up in the same thing? Now, yes, there's a lot of corruption in the court systems that favored women because that's how a lot of it started out. It's not like that anymore. Most of them have a job or a better job than a man. And, they want, all this other stuff where you've got others, and I hate to say it, and they'll come right out and tell you, the more babies I have, the more money I get.
There are those people, but that's not everybody.
Not everybody, but there are those that abuse that system. That's what it was for. If not, if you're enough to get divorced, that's what a lot of people are going to prenups. Let's go ahead and work that out now. Why not? Because it prevents even going to the courts. We have a prenuptial agreement that if this happens, this is what we're going to do. The state can't interfere with a private contract. You guys do realize that. That's why prenups exist. It's called a contract, a private contract. You can't legally bring something that's in private contract and go to them and saying, hey, it's fair and unequitable. Yeah, but you signed it. And you have to have both parties agree to amend or change it. Is that not correct, Darren?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll give you an example. Personal life example. With my son, my oldest son, when they did what they did, my ex brought me back to child support court and saying, I need to get child support. I'm not mentioning names. I'll just say my ex. She takes me there and I have an appointment. I'm like, okay, what the hell is this about? Now understand, I'm not working anymore due to my health. Why is this? You don't get anything after this. Once you're divorced, your shit's your shit. My shit's my shit. You don't get any more rights to my shit. So I come in, I said, I asked the judge at first, and I said, hey, do you want to hear some case law or this and that? Nope, we're not here to hear that. We're here to see what you're going to get, what you're going to pay today. Oh, I don't get to talk, huh? Went right into blah, 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 blah. Well, it's based off of this, and there was a worksheet, and nothing was put in before, and blah, 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 blah. And went in and did this thing under the worksheet and saying, well, you don't have this entered and we need to go back. We knew it doesn't even look like it was done. So maybe we need to do, kind of like they're looking at back child support and all this other bullshit. And I'm just like, well, that's going to be kind of hard due to the fact that I'm not working. Well, you got permanently disabled, like trying to get on a heart transplant list. You're not forcing me to go to work. Don't think so. Nice try. So the magistrate freezes, looks over at the CPS. Oh my God, what do we do in this situation? We've never had this. Okay. And over here, I'm just laughing my ass off the whole time because I'm knowing where this is going. And then, they start going through some things. And, this was before I told them they started their ramble. And the CPS worker says, they haven't done a worksheet. We're going to do one now and maybe calculate some back child support and blah, 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 blah. And, like he was looking to go backwards and forwards in every fucking way he possibly could. I mean, that was the CPS rep for the state that does the calculations. So then he comes up and he goes, well, you've never paid her child support. And I go, that's not true. And he stops and looks. I said, if you'll look, now I want you to pay attention to this. If you look in my divorce decree, We made a private contract not to involve a third party, such as the state, that states in there, I will pay her X amount of dollars per month per child until the child turns 18. Said and done. It's a private contract. It's signed by the judge with my divorce decree. So you can use your divorce decree of your splitting of assets as the way they look at it, as what your terms are. You can lay out all the terms you want in that divorce decree, and the state can't override the contract because you're both willingly signing it. And it was well known. It wasn't a trick. It was just talked about, and it was something agreed to, which obviously somebody forgot, because now they've filed a false case against me for this, because once I pointed that out, both the child support person that was there and the magistrate just started what I call crayfishing, snapping their claws, tucking their tail, and making a bunch of fucking noise. Next thing you know, well, we can't do nothing. We can't make him pay nothing. And then here comes some of the tears. Oh, and there was no reason for that. The boy had a job and everything else. There was no need. It was something just to be cruel. Just in my opinion, but there was no leg to stand on. The court couldn't overrule it. When I said private contract right there, and it's signed, the contract signed by a judge for that makes it legally binding and a court document. There ain't shit child support could do. And they knew it, because just by bringing me into that court now, they committed a crime, because they had no legal standing to bring me into court, because I had a private contract, and the only way she could bring me to court was if I violated the contract, which they did ask her and say, has he made those payments every single month and everything else? Yeah, it's on the court record. Well, stop looking at it as your family, your spouse, and everything else, because the courts don't look at you like that. They look at you like a business entity. Your children are assets to the court. No different. They don't give a shit. So when I say that, and you know the law, and you know the contract law, and as soon as I knew they fucked up, and they then knew that I knew that they fucked up, and then now I have a case against all of them. Isn't that right, Darren?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Sure is.
Well, and on top of that, child support put on my credit report, and it's still on my credit report. So let's contract with me, making credit fraud on top of it, and the hearing was for like 6 or 8 months.
So let's dive into that.
I even had an appearance in court.
Let's dive in on that, and I want to read you guys something. Okay, how much is your child worth? CPS gets $41,821 a year for normal foster placement, and foster families only get about $800. So CPS's profit over $2,500 per month per child with the tax dollar. Okay, now listen. General foster care, $41,821.22. General foster care, $2,053,123.71. Intensive foster care, $99,466.67.
Right, they have different levels. They have 3 different levels. Right.
Right. Residential, $1,098,933.02. Intensive medical care, $325,527.28.
Money.
It's all about the fucking money.
Listen, guys, I'm going to get out of here. If you want to pick some of this up, we're going to reveal more on this topic that we're talking about tonight, from a psychological point of view as well, but some of that historical point of view. Catch us tonight at 9:30, this same channel. on the CPS Breaking News Network, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight. Check us out. Guys, I'm out. I'm going to go work on setting up the show. And thank you guys out there for watching. And don't forget to like and save all of our shows.
That's right. Check later, dinner. Yeah, well, that went where we were. That's where we went.
Yep. And to answer your question, Lewis, yes, you could have like a maternity kind of person come and do like your own birthing at home,
like a midwife or something like that.
Yep. And then not do a birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And put your kids' feet on land and not paper.
Mm-hmm. To make a clay copy of their foots, not the footprints on paper. All right, Vinny, let's do some last words.
Yeah, man. Keep fighting, guys. Never give up. Don't let these tyrants wear you down. Obviously, I've dealt with some tyrants this weekend, and I'll be dealing my deal to them soon enough.
Mm-hmm. All right, these are my last words. Listen, there's nothing stronger in this world than a woman that has given birth and that has been left abandoned to take care of her kid by herself. To not have a man with you helping you take and raise your kid is a freaking crime in itself. Men need to be just as responsible as for their children as a woman is. Just because you're the one that gave birth to that child doesn't mean that a man deserves the right to just take off and leave you with the responsibilities of that. That person's a loser. They're a coward. And you do whatever you got to do to get what you need out of them to raise that child. I have no problems with that. The whole thing is just keeping the courts out of it so that we can do this individually and without the courts getting into our business, because the more we let the courts in our business, the more they have control of us, guys. So you guys have a good night. We'll be back tomorrow. Keep CPS out of your life for the night. If they do come around, tell them to fuck off. Have a good night, everybody. I'm the CPS Punisher. I'm out of here.
World getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country, and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lion not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheek. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. 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 One day, one day, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Hey, and don't forget Gunner's show coming up here at 9:30. Gunning for CPS.